Hello YouTube, welcome to part 2 of how to draw a comic. The first episode I showed you how I draw my comic strip, and as you can see there wasn't any rubbers involved. I know my character pretty well, so I can draw him without the use of any other aids or practicing too much to get him looking the way I want. Understandably, when you're designing a new character or bringing something else into the fray, you won't get it right the first time. Very rarely, even myself, you know, if I'm drawing a seahorse or something else, I won't get that character looking right first time. Often 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 goes to get that character looking the way that I wanted, that was in my head. So a couple of techniques that you can use to get that picture out of your head onto paper is what I call just using shapes. So the shapes is, you know, you go to any art school or any art class, one of the first things that you'll learn is look at an object and try and break it down into shapes. So, you know, a good example of that would be the human form. So if you're struggling drawing a cartoon of a human person, I would always start off with, you know, an oval sort of shape for the head, a little bit less for the neck, you know, that you've got sort of a egg shape for the torso, a little bit of a circly egg shape for the groin, stomach area. We've got 2 longer elongated circles for the thigh, you know, a couple of little circles for the knees, a few more circles for the legs, and a couple more circles for the feet. There we go, 2 circles for the shoulders. We've got the biceps, elbows, forearms, and hands. Okay, so from that image we can draw over the top of that, add things to it, put clothing on, you know, add fingers and feet and everything else. So what I'll do now is show you how I would change this into a person. And you know, the shoulders that I've done here would mean that this person is quite muscly, so you can sort of see that I probably need to take a bit of that off. I would put a t-shirt on him around that. So this is just using the shape that I drew initially. Okay, let's give him shorts. I can have shoes on. Okay. The face, I do a couple of chubby cheeks, you know, squiggly things for eyebrows, couple of eyes, nose, mouth, whatever, however you want to do it. Ears. Funny hairdo. I mean, that's very basic, but you can see that from the initial drawing that I did with those circles, then I've got something that's in proportion. You know, his body is in proportion to his legs and arms, and I can. One thing I struggle with is getting people in particular poses, and this is a technique that I use. You know, if I'm having someone throw a bottle or crouching down or doing something, I will use the shape technique to get them in the position that I want, and then I'll draw over that. And I do that quite a bit with people. But once you get to know your character quite well, you shouldn't need to do this too much. But when you're drawing, like I said, you're drawing things that might be new to your cartoon, it's a very handy technique to use. Another technique that I use occasionally when I haven't drawn something for a while is, I call it the squiggly technique, which is just drawing something really messy. Right? So, you know, I'm not really sure how I want this to be, but I'll just sort of, you know, I want to give him a big, you know, big mouth, and I want his teeth, you know, really protruding through, and you know, I might not have drawn him in this particular angle before, or it's a different type of shark that I'm drawing, but I want his tail to be, you know, really whipped around here, and you know, he's really mean, or whatever position that you want it to be in. And from this rough sketch, I can do a similar thing what I do with a lightbox, but I'll go, I'm not happy with that line there, I want it to be out here a bit more, or I want that eye to be a bit bigger, or I want this mouth to be just a tad smaller. Alright, and then I go, okay, this could then be part of the lip, and this nose can come out around, and actually now I can see that's got to go up a bit more, and come in a bit more there, and yeah, tail's not too bad, but the teeth I could probably do a little bit more like that. Okay, so that the drawing that I'm left with might be very different to the initial, you can see the initial sketchy drawing that I did. So it's really just tracing over the top of the drawing that you worked on to get your final, close to the final result that you want to get to. And I guess that leads me into my next part of the video, where I might just rip this piece of paper. I'll take a new piece of paper. Just move that out of the way. I'll turn my lightbox on. These are about $120 for a A4 version. You can get them in A5 as well. And I'll just pop that down on there, and I'll pop my piece of paper on top. So these are pretty standard tools that cartoonists use, often on a bigger scale than this. And you can see clearly through the paper, I can see the outline of my drawing. So with this guy here, I can see, yeah, there's an eyebrow, nose, mouth, and if I think that the cheeks are a bit small, which I did on my other one, I can go into that and just go over it a bit. And here I can really fine up a few of the details, and sometimes I might go over this a couple of times in my lightbox just to get it right. Now see how his shoulders are a little bit high. The beauty of this is I can go, okay, I'll just move that up a bit, and here we go. Right, so there's the t-shirt, we've got his arm, his hand there. Now we can see that where I've drawn this t-shirt, his arm is too far. Hopefully you can see that. He's up, so I need to bring the picture this way just a tad to get that arm in the right spot that I'm going to trace. So now I've got it in the right spot. It's going to produce a better image, and I can move it back for his shorts. So there's his shorts, legs. Not a very job of the feet there, but just a demonstration purpose. Now you can see that the finished result for him is a lot different to what I had there. But using the lightbox, I'm able to produce a crisp image. Let's have a go at this shark here. Sharpen my pencil. I might use this 2B one, which I told you I didn't like too much. Now I can see that even looking at this image, I want to change it again. So I want to make this eye a little bit bigger. Maybe not come down as far there. Happy with that. Okay, happy. And there we go. So a couple of teeth sticking out there. Shade that in for now, just to give you the impression. Gills. And okay, so I remove that from there, and you can see that from my initial sketchy drawing, I've now created a crisp picture that I can trace again if I'm not happy with, or like I said, if I haven't drawn him in that pose before, I'm doing something different. Often I'll draw it very sketchy and use the lightbox to tweak it. And I'll use the lightbox multiple times. I might have the perfect background, or I've drawn something that I need to replicate. So let's say he was standing on a desert island, and I wanted to put him in a different pose, but I wanted to keep the background the same. I would then put a new piece of paper over the desert island, a blank piece of paper, draw the desert island, and then put him on and lightbox him on as well. So I had the same background as the one before. You can do that in Photoshop if you want. If you want to, but I find it just, it's easier when you do it with your initial drawing. So that's lesson 2, guys. Hopefully there was something there that you liked and can use in your own drawing. Once again, any questions or feedback that you want to give me, please post it in the link in the comments field below, and don't forget to check out facebook.com/FinsComic to check out my work, and click like if you like it. Thanks, guys.